talk a little bit about how I found this amazing show. My son, who's 5 years old now, was on a very strict television diet. TV was my babysitter when I was growing up, and I watched hours and hours and hours of TV completely unsupervised, and that's probably why I got kicked out of kindergarten for hitting my teacher with a piece of paper and saying, "I am Voltron and I will not take a nap." And so I didn't want to make the same mistake my parents did, and my wife and I discussed and then monitored our 5-year-old's, or at the time 4-year-old's television viewing. And until he was 4, he just watched 2 shows, Sesame Street and a show called Caillou. And for those of you who have not seen it, Caillou is a sweet Canadian boy who does pretty much nothing. An entire episode will be devoted to building a snowman or making a grilled cheese sandwich. And as a storyteller myself, Caillou, while most likely wonderful for a developing mind, put me to sleep. And there's nothing wrong with a complete lack of conflict. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And some nights I'd arrive home after my son watched his 30 minutes of television. I'd say, "What happened on Caillou today?" And he'd look at me kind of bored and he'd say, "It rained." And I would pretend to be interested and say, "Ooh, and then what happened after it rained?" And my son would say, "Caillou put on his boots." And so it went like this until one day I arrived home and my son looked like something wonderful had happened. His entire spirit, his entire energy just shifted. And when I asked him what happened on Caillou, he said to me, "Mommy let me see a new show today." I looked over at my wife, who seemed kind of regretful and guilty at the same time, and I already knew that whatever she had exposed my son to was probably awesome. "And what show is that?" I asked, and my son's eyes lit up. "Phineas and Ferb." "Oh," I said, "and what happened on Phineas and Ferb?" Phineas and Ferb made friends with the mummy, but the mummy was their sister and she had too much gum, so they didn't know it was her. Dr. Doofenshmirtz smoked a woodinator that was a magnet for wood, and he tried to break a beaver dam, but Perry punched him. I looked up at my wife, who would not meet my eyes. "Who's Perry?" I asked. "He's a secret agent," my son responded. "And a platypus." And that, my friends, was the last time Caillou was ever watched. The era of Phineas and Ferb had begun. I love the show instantly, and as a writer, I'm still in awe of how carefully each episode is constructed. I love the characters, the nuances, the self-awareness. I love how each one of them is so distinct and special. I love how smart it is. I love Norm. I love Love Muffin. I love the Mexican Jewish Cultural Festival. But most of all, I love that the show feels like it's for me, a 39-year-old man, and my 5-year-old son. And I have a feeling that I speak for a lot of the people in this room, that it's a very special thing when you can watch something with your kids and love it just as much as they do. Which is why it's an absolute honor for me to introduce some of the brilliant minds and talents behind it. So first up, co-creator and executive producer, Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz himself, Mr. Dan Povenmire. Co-creator, executive producer, and head of the organization without a cool acronym, Swampy Marsh. The voice of the greatest triangle-headed character in the history of television, Phineas Flynn Fletcher, Vincent Martella. The reason my son says, "What you doing?" every time he answers our phone, the voice of Isabella, Allison Stoner. And last but not least, the voice of the platypus that is controlling us, D. Bradley Baker. I'm going to ask these guys some questions. We've got some very cool announcements that we'll be making here. You will be amongst the first to hear. And then we're going to open up the floor for you to ask questions, which is always the most awesome part of the Comic-Con experience. But guys, if you would, could you please answer this first round of questions in character? And let's start with you, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Doof, what do you think of Comic-Con And has it inspired any innators that we should be worried about?
You know, I've been thinking about just a faminator to create lots of fans for myself. They would help me. They could be my minions. And I could take over the tri-state area much easier if I had minions instead of, just more.
I think that you could drop a little people in this room. Major Monogram, I've seen a number of people in disguises here on the Comic-Con floor. Are there any undercover agents keeping us safe in San Diego?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you look around, there's a whole lot of potential evil characters floating about this place. So, yes, we discreetly have some agents posted around just to make sure nothing gets out of hand. Carl is somewhere in a squirrel suit, actually, waiting for a Twilight panel.
Phineas, what are your plans for when summer vacation is finally over and school starts up again?
Wait. When summer vacation is what? I can't even think about that. I mean, there's only 104 days of summer. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that. We gotta make the best of every single one.
I'm okay with it going on forever, if it's all the same as you guys. It's a nice long summer. Isabella, Phineas is sitting next to you. Is there anything you'd like to share with him? Perhaps something obvious that he's been completely missing for a really long time?
Sometimes I just get lost in his eyes and I can't really think straight. And as much as I support everyone here getting into character and loving Comic-Con, really all I can think about is the beautiful hunk of man next to me.
I don't know what she's talking about. Hunk of what?
A hunk of burning love.
This is getting good. I'm just going to be quiet for a while. Perry, although you and Doof are nemeses, it's hard to imagine what you would do without him. In one word, and I really want you to think about this before you answer. How would you describe your complex relationship with Danville's most horrific evil genius? Okay, guys, this is for the actual people on this panel. Can you tell us a little bit about where we are in season 3, what there is still to be seen, what's going on with season 4? Where are we in the process right now?
Well, we're finishing up season 3 right now, and we're ending the season with a cliffhanger. It's sort of our Who Shot JR.
Only without the shoot.
Actually, no,
Without the shooting, and without the JR,
Without the who.
and without the it's actually got the Where's Perry is our season ender, and we're gonna end with a cliffhanger, not knowing where Perry is, and then fourth season will start up with the resolution to that. So it's
Or Willie.
Any sense of when we're in the 4th season we're going to see that, or?
It's like a month later, a month or 6 weeks or something like that, a little later. So you'll have lots of time for speculation as to where exactly.
Can I wait for a guess?
You can wait here and guess.
Okay, I'll do it later. Vincent, of the episodes that we haven't seen yet, the ones that you've already done your work for, can you tell us about any special inventions coming up that we should be excited about?
Well, the one that I'm most excited about right now, I think something we're going to talk about later, but it's, we're forced to help out some other characters who you may have heard of, they're Iron Man and Hulk, some characters like that, and so it's very cool.
Sweet. Allison, what's Isabella up to in these new episodes? Will she be getting any new fireside badges we should be aware of?
It's another day. It's time for a new badge. She, I think, is becoming more, I'd say, confident in speaking her mind about
what she's thinking about, if it relates to Phineas or it relates to her team. She's still saccharine sweet, just syrupy sweet all the time, but she has a bit of a bite to her, and it's kind of nice. She gets a little sassy, but it's still just pure, good-hearted fun, and yeah, I mean, I love Claire. She's wonderful. Wonderful.
Dee, I would imagine that that the voice work that you do, particularly for Perry, is very challenging because there's a limit to it. Have you got it? Is it hard? Is it fun? Is it easy? What's your process?
It's so difficult that they recorded it once and reprinted in every show. Because it really takes it out of me to muster that sound. But normally I'm brought in to do like an extra sneeze or a snore or a snort effort on Perry's behalf. But other than that, it's about the easiest and funnest little thing I've ever done in a show that so marvelously brings together science and music in their most inspirational and entertaining form into one show. It's really awesome to be a part of it.
Now I understand that you do all the animals on the show. Is that
I do
accurate?
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of little things and big things, monsters. I was the big kind of cube-like fuzzy monster in the movie that we did, and
Goose.
the goose,
The goose.
and the goose, and the giant metal dog. It's whatever they throw at me, I'll make a sound for it. Sometimes, usually it works.
And if there are other animal agents, you would do the voices for them.
Yeah,
presumably?
there's sometimes there's a dog or a cat or